Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to go over Lee Anderson's latest stupidity parade, starring himself, of course, as usual. As I also want to use the example to point out how political liars usually push their disinformation and how Anderson just demonstrates his political ineptitude in getting it all wrong. Like proper stupid evil. But first, for daily political commentary, please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. So, yes, Lee Anderson done goofed again. It's not actually his worst offence. You know, it's like, Max does like a Fool of the Week. You could actually do that just for Lee Anderson, the Anderson of the week. The dumbest thing Reform UK's dumbest MP has said that week. Absolutely, you could do that. But as I've said before, then it would look like I was picking on him. It might almost stray into bullying territory, so I don't think I will. Might do something similar, though. We'll see. But anyway, his latest parade of his own stupidity, and he knew it as well. See, once Dan Jarvis, the Labour minister who had to deal with him, had finished, Lee Anderson's face said it all. He'd mucked it up again, and as thick as he isn't so stupid as to not even know when he's had his pants pulled down again. So the big news story in the UK right now is the alleged Chinese agent who got a bit too close to Prince Andrew, who has once again not exactly covered himself in glory. I think I saw a report the King has told him to make himself scarce again this Christmas. But also former Prime Ministers David Cameron, Theresa May, who, despite saying they don't remember him, have certainly been photographed together. But anyway, Lee Anderson thought he could score political points with this one on a Labour government somehow. Not quite sure how, as the alleged events took place while his former party was in government. But he gave it a go anyway. Delighted to take advantage of parliamentary privilege, which I'm not actually sure he needs for this at the moment. But he named the Chinese guy at the centre of it all and suggested to Dan Jarvis, the Labour minister taking questions, that his name was only withheld from the public to avoid embarrassing former prime ministers and business leaders. To which Jarvis had the easiest of responses. First, he drew Lee Anderson's attention to the fact that actually the government have named him. So there was obviously no withholding of the name on the part of the government. Second, that when the anonymity did exist, it was because of a court order. So a judge had decided, nothing to do with the government, any government. At which point, Lee Anderson put on his, oh, bollocks, it's happened again face. But this is also a good illustration of Anderson's stupid evil. See, more cunning operators do not pose questions like this to ministers in the House of Commons. If they're standing up and posing a disingenuous question, they don't do it to ministers because they'll get sat down. They'll have it fired back at them. What they do is they pose their questions to nobody in particular on social media. If they're right-wing grifters, they do it on Twitter, where the current owner is more than happy to amplify it. Mind you, they will risk the community notes, I suppose. I'm still surprised Space Karen hasn't turned those off. Community notes, I think, are probably the closest thing to entertainment you get on Twitter these days. Especially when Musk himself falls foul of them. That's always good for a laugh. But he does turn those off eventually. But the point is that you can make ridiculous claims or pose disingenuous questions online and it will gain traction. For example, Nigel Farage posing questions this summer about why is the identity of the Southport killer not provided immediately? Are you covering up for immigrants, are you? He knew full well that the reason was because you cannot, by law, the police are not allowed to release the names of minors involved in a crime until a judge says they can. And as soon as the judge said they could, which they did fairly quickly, they did. But it allowed him to use those few days where there was anonymity to claim that there was some shady cover-up going on, hiding things from the public. If he had simply asked his question in Parliament first, he'd have been shot down immediately and that would have been the end of it. It's the same with the claim that both Reform UK and the Tories are trying to make at the moment. They did yesterday. They were going, oh, Labour are talking about delaying the local elections. Oh, they're not doing very well in the polls. And they're anti-democratic it is. It's like, no, it's not remotely true. They're not delaying any elections. And the Tories are basing this on Reform UK on the devolution plans, which are going to mean a few authority boundary changes. But elections are not being delayed. You may just find yourself with like slightly different authorities. Just as most of us did for the general election this year. We still had the election and we still have an MP. It's just that the area's changed a bit. But because they're making these claims on social media, people will buy it and the lie takes hold. Where Anderson went wrong, he asked his question to someone who could answer it. What an idiot, who then instantly got shot down. The clip of which is now on social media doing the rounds. And actually, when it's really embarrassing, it can be seen by a lot of people. So I suppose what I'm saying is we should actually appreciate Lee Anderson. You know, if all the populists were like him, we'd have never had Brexit. Boris Johnson couldn't possibly have won the election if he were that thick. Nigel Farage would actually be the village idiot of Clacton, not its MP. Life would be much better. It may also mean that if Reform UK did win the next election, I mean, don't worry, they won't. But if they did, they wouldn't actually be able to put their evil schemes into operation, because if all their MPs, or even the vast majority of them, were like Lee Anderson, they'd all be too thick to even find their ministerial officers to tell the officials what they want to do. Nothing would actually happen. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, please click the like button and subscribe for further content. If you'd like to support the channel further, you can click the join button for memberships. Thanks for watching. And until next time, I will see you later.